On to a very interesting morning out here in the African bush. Proper summer morning this morning. Everything's looking quite gloomy. My name is Ali, and on camera with me today I have got Senzo, and we are very happy to be taking you guys out on what is probably going to be a very typical summer's day out here in the Greater Kruger National Park. This is a live and interactive show, so if you've got any questions or comments, please feel free to send them through using either the hashtag Safari Live on Twitter or the YouTube channel to send any comments or questions you may have. Now, not too sure where we're going to head off, because apparently Tandi stole Hosanna's kill yesterday, so that could have pushed Hosanna, which is a young male leopard, onto this area. Tamba, another young male leopard, was in the vicinity not too far away, and then of course we had some lions to end the show last night. So I wonder, where should we go? Well, I'm thinking everywhere. So I'm going to hold on to my trusty cup of coffee, and we're going to head off down south, see if perhaps we can find any beautiful creatures down there. Although it seems to be a little bit on the quiet side now. It's not pouring down with rain, and if at any time you see any poles sticking out from us, that's because we had to put our roofs on this morning, because it's raining hard enough for us to warrant the use of a roof, mostly to protect not really ourselves, but to protect the camera equipment that we've got with us that allows us to bring this experience to you guys all the way wherever you may be. Now, it is a very nice soft rain, and considering the drought that we've been having, it's probably the best kind of rain that we want. Because yes, sometimes, well, we love, and at least I do, those very nice summer thunderstorms with a lot of lightning and just pouring down with rain, but they are normally done very quickly, and they can actually do more damage than what this rain can, because they'll just erode everything away, all the grass particles or the seed particles, and everything just gets washed away. Whereas this rain, it's that type of rain that's not going to make you wet, it's going to make you soaked. So it's going to make sure that everything pretty much goes underneath into the land, and it does it in a slowly, calm way, so probably everything is just going to get it a right amount of water. Now, the animals don't particularly enjoy this type of weather. I mean, if you think about it, we don't too. That's why it's always said that when it's nice and rainy, everyone just wants to stay at home and cuddle, or either that or watch a movie. But we are brave. We're going to head out, go look for leopards and lions and impalas. Ooh, nice big. Ooh, we need to find them. We can't let Tristan down now on the cat streak, now that he's gone on leave on a well-deserved break. I think he was very happy to have ended on such a high. Tristan is the cat man for sure, and of course with the leopards, he absolutely adores leopards. So I think it was very fitting that we ended up with Tamba yesterday, which is his favorite for the area. And I'm sure he was quite happy about it. Although it seems like some of the cats were giving him a little bit of a hard time yesterday. Now, I don't even know where to start looking. Just gonna, and the weather is a little bit funny still, and there's not enough light. So I'm just gonna have to every now and again drive and then just peek onto the side, just to try and discern if there are any tracks on the road. Alright, that's sorted now. So I was just trying to fix the radio. Sometimes it can be very loud in my ear. Alright, let's see. Seems like for now it's gonna be all of us together. So let's head out and start looking. Woohoo! We are ready! Alright, Senzo, you've got a spot as a leopard today. I spotted Ostamba yesterday. I think that's only fair. Such an interesting change already in the seasons, because in South Africa, when you change from winter to summer, spring is more of a relative term, I find. Yes, you will have like that short period of time where certain things will start flowering, like the knapthorns. Well, knapthorns also do it at the end of winter, but it'll be some random showers and then lots of little flowers here and there. But then after that, the change is very quick, as it is now. So we've had pretty much very dry weather, and then all of a sudden we had that massive downpour, and then the clouds have just been sticking around, which it's been good, I suppose, to a certain point for all the animals and the wildlife, because of what it means. It's more water, and then plants are going to start germinating and producing very nice tasty leaves for everyone to eat. New flowers are going to come around. Hopefully more trees are going to start fruiting later on in the year. So it's actually a very nice time of the year to look forward to. It changes very much. And I think sometimes you just need the change in scenery to then be able to appreciate every season. And funny enough, my favorite season in the bush is winter. I just love the golden color and when you get that beautiful golden light and everything. And Tristan absolutely adores summer, which is ironic because I hate the cold and he hates the heat. But I suppose you can't have it all. Now, what are these tracks here on the road? Sometimes hard to discern what's going on. Let's see, I want to hear on the radio as well, seeing what it is that's going on, and then we can take it from there. Although it seems very quiet, I don't think we're going to have too much radio talk today because the weather is not the prettiest. So let's see. Interestingly enough, I was reading an article yesterday about plants and seeds and germination, and there's a new study that was done for commercial purposes mostly, as obviously most of the research is paid for commercial purposes. These are impala tracks. That apparently plants, or seeds rather, they have two cells in there that act almost like as a brain, and all of the decision making process within those cells, there's one part that promotes germination and one part that promotes dormancy, and these two parts cell of the seed, so we're talking about tiny little minuscule I don't even know how to, particles or parts in a cell, are in constant fight between one another. And it is when you have such big fluctuations of weather, funny enough. They were saying that it was quite ironic that this is when the germination seed won over the other part. It says that when you have this type of weather, that's when the germination occurs for most plants. So there's actually, it's quite interesting. I think the title of the article was something along or something very sad like that. But yes, it's just about how much new research it's being done on plants and how the process and how plants do the things that they do, not just because all of the conditions were good. So just it's involved in what plants do, which I thought it was very interesting. Alright, sorry about that. Seems like we've got some gremlin attacks with the rain. I'm sure the gremlins are creatures that live in the clouds. Now, this is the area roughly where we had Tamba hunting yesterday. To our right, but we know that he went straight south and check around Twindam's area before we do anything else, just to see if maybe he is hanging somewhere. On a track. Alright, sorry guys. Seems like maybe the gremlins are bothered by my voice and they want to carry on sleeping. Now, I want to see what else there is around here, because this is a good leopard area, and if Tandy did steal Hosana's kill yesterday, there would be a good reason for her to also come back up the Molowati and maybe pay us a visit, which would be very nice. Now, I'm just trying to have a look down here for any tracks, but like I said earlier, imagine you see a sandy beach and after the rain has fallen, everything sort of breaks up a little bit, so it's hard to be able to tell what's been walking around, if it's been walking around before the rain, because clearly the tracks get washed away. But if they've been walking around after the rain, which is what I'm hoping we're going to find eventually, then it becomes a million times better and easier to follow those tracks. What is it around here? No, and I wonder where all the elephants have gone off to. We had so many elephants here yesterday, and there was some sort of commotion going on as we were heading back to the lodge, and also while we were with Tumba, we could hear them far, far away in the distance.
We'll get there. Let's get going. Step one. Yeah. If we're lucky, it might stop raining by the time we're done. Because
as we had decided to go to try and look for the leopards, so I'm gonna go around and perhaps we're gonna be able to find them somewhere further up in the Molowati. We do know that Tundi and Tamba also like that area, and maybe something around the dam camp. I'm a little bit disappointed that the lion didn't go all the way into the dam camp, because Tristan left them off not too far from there. But I think our tech team is busy fighting off the gremlins, and as soon as we get an update from them or that things are going a little bit better, then we'll be able to carry on with our morning mission. Now, forms of life, where are you? Although if we want to get technical, all these trees around us are living trees. It would be just wonderful if for once we could bump into the lions. Paula, you're wondering what would my perfect game drive contain? Well, it's gotta have rhinos for sure, and lions and leopards and elephants, and if I could have them all, I would have them all. But I think maybe a nice game like the one we had yesterday. Yesterday's game drive was one of my top game drives, where everything just seems to go smoothly and you find lots of big but also little things, which makes it every time, it makes it so interesting. So I would have just added into a game drive like yesterday, I would have added some rhino into the mix and perhaps hearing some lions roaring at night, and I think that would have been my perfect game drive. So would have started off with some Ellies, some of them being a bit full of nonsense, then carried on spotting some eagles or maybe some shikras, tiny little birds, or something little, something small to make you get interested and be like, oh, I haven't seen that before. Carried on, of course, time spent with the leopard hunting. How great is that? And then I would have just traded off, heading at some point while looking at the leopard. Maybe if we could have had a rhino, that would have been very nice for me. And then as we left the leopard, then I think maybe if we could have gone to a roaring lion, that would have been perfect. 100 brownie points for that game drive. But I think I cannot complain about yesterday's. I actually thoroughly enjoyed the game drive yesterday. That was very good. Lou agrees with me that the additions to my perfect game drive would be nice. I think that would have been it. Oh look, we've got some chickens running in the road. Well, not chickens. It's probably disrespectful to them, but they just always remind me of such. Those are some francolins running away. Now, yes, let's have a look. Crested francolins, but these are younger ones. So I'm actually quite excited to start seeing the little ones, or smaller than this ones, running around behind their parents, because they're so tiny and fluffy and they're just very pretty. Like I said yesterday, I don't know why I'm not the biggest birder around. I enjoy birds, but up to a level. I think Brent and Tristan are far better birders than me, so I've learned a great deal from them. But I just can't wait for everything to have a nest. Let's see. I've got to answer the radio. Afternoon. What am I saying? Good morning, Rex. No updates yet. Now on Tundam Zingwe Ali Junction. copy. I know Tristan left the one Madora yesterday on Gary Cutline, sorry, and he said that maybe the rest of the Nshlambi was somewhere around there as well. Awesome, please let me know. Thanks. Copy. Sorry guys, just Rex and I seem to be the only people that are out and about this morning. So it's good to keep in tabs because he's got some inside information. Apparently somebody left the gate left yesterday evening, and they had some tracks for the Nkuhuma part of Lions heading back into Djuma and going then towards the gate. So he's going to go straight in that direction and he's going to check around. And I think slowly but surely we're also going to move in there. He is a lot closer than us, so if he does manage to pick up any tracks, I'm sure he will let us know. But he wants to see if perhaps those lions haven't actually crossed and gone west into some of the areas outside of our traverse, which hopefully won't be the case. And I wonder, maybe that lion yesterday, that male lion that Tristan had, which I'm not too sure which one of the Birmingham's boy it was, maybe it was just following the tracks of the rest of the pride. I'm sure that could be the case. And on another more interesting point, just as we finished the drive, they found what could potentially be Djuma, but in roughly the Buffelshoek Dam area heading back into Torchwood. So if it was him, he's been missioning quite a lot. I'm sure following girls and fighting in Bula has taken him everywhere. Now this would be the perfect time to bump into Tamba again. Jeremy, you're wondering if the rainy weather affects the animals' movements at all. Well, it does. You'll see that the birds don't really like this weather because they get quite wet, so they don't like and their wings get too heavy because of the rain, so they can't always fly away. Sorry, and I don't think we'll be able to put that on screen, will we, Senzo? We have just gone past the Wahlberg's eagle's nest that we saw yesterday, but with the roof, unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be able to show it to you guys because we can't really tilt and the roof is going to be there. But I am happy to report that there's one of them there, the same one we saw yesterday, so everything's still going on well there. So Jeremy, when going back to your question, when we have this type of weather, everyone is a little cold, so often they will try to go into the bushes or thicker vegetation just to prevent themselves from getting wet or from being exposed to the conditions. And if it rains a lot, then you will see that the animals start looking very grumpy, particularly the cats. They are very funny. They have like this miserable face, as in like, why am I getting wet? So it does affect the animal movements. And then if we upscale it from there, the great migration only happens because of the rain. So we have, and all of our friends in the Mara have been seeing this going on for the last few months. It becomes completely dry in Tanzania, so the wildebeest, they migrate the other way around. I'm getting confused now. So the animals move from Tanzania to Kenya just following the rain because it stops raining in the one side and then they go onto the other side because there's lush green vegetation, and then they go back and then they carry on, and it's an endless cycle. So yes, rain is one of the main things that, or not only rain, but the availability of water that comes with rain, that makes animals move from one place to the other, or that makes them displace from one area to the next. Now, I haven't actually been paying too much attention to the tracks in the road, but I don't think I've missed anything. I hope I haven't, but we'll see. And it took us about 15 minutes to decide this morning if the weather was going to be really bad to warrant a roof, but I'm glad we did now because there's a lot of rain coming down, and I was hoping that as soon as the sun came out that it was going to stop and that it was going to become a little bit better, but it seems like not quite the case this morning. So who knows? I think maybe signal depending, we're gonna head off to quarantine in that area. James, you're saying that maybe the rain will bring out some of the smaller and unusual things in the wilderness. Well, definitely. I think already in the last few days, but I don't think, perhaps not today, but tomorrow or in the next few days, as the rain maybe stops and the temperature starts picking up a little bit again, actually Louise seems to be the one finding all the creepy crawlies, because she found a baboon spider and a millipede. I also found a millipede the other day at Inga's, and then Tristan found his very strange carcass beetle. So the little things are starting to come out, which is great news, because we all enjoy a little creepy crawly. And of course, now that we're going to be able to start doing bushwalks again and everything, and because the creepy crawlies are going to be around, then it's going to be so much more interesting, because we can focus on the little things. And then of course, we've got a wonderful new book that we are addicted to, that is just the tracks and signs for the insects of southern Africa, which is a very interesting book that's actually been written by Lee Guttridge, which is one of the guiding and bush people gurus, if I can put him that way. So a very well-known person in the industry, just because of the amount of knowledge he has and everything he's put together. And apparently this new book that he's written, it took him about 4 years to write it, and it's just incredible. There's everything in there, from the tracks of a particular species of ant to the eggs of a particular species of butterfly and moth. It's just mind-blowing, if I can say it like that. Tristan's been like a kid. He hasn't even let me read the book just yet, because he's like, no, but I need to read this, or I need to find this out. And I'm like, okay, but can we please share? No was the answer that I got. So eventually he'll get bored of it, and then I'll get it, because he's swapping his time between that one and another book that he got that are the ants of South Africa. So can't wait for all these little things and the butterflies. Okay, just gonna listen to the radio. Okay, copy. Going past DRC now, so I'll start making my way into that area. Okay, copy. I'll go check around there. Alright, seems like the... Hang on. Okay, copy. So it seems like I can't think of the name, the Nkuhumas, they've cut across Vuyatela axis and they've carried on west. So Rice is further ahead from us, clearly, and he's going to just go around, check the main road, which is our boundary road, and just make sure that they haven't perhaps crossed into another reserve. And we are going to carry on going down south, well, not southwest actually, and check around here on another particular road, just in case there's anything else around there that we might want to be able to see. Now, I think probably the next one is the one that we want to go on to. I can feel the rain in my skin now. Lots of rain. Let's see what else is going on around here. Paula, you're wondering how much new rain is needed for new green grass to start sprouting. Well, we've had about 15 to 20 millimeters, and I would have expected that to have more of an impact, but I think also we haven't had enough sunshine for a lot of the seeds to start germinating, and for a lot of the trees to, or more trees to put out their leaves out. Normally around this area we get about 290 millimeters of water a year, so we still need more. I would say maybe in total we could have 50 millimeters, and that's when we would start seeing everything becoming very green, or at least the start off. That would be. But I think we're heading in that direction. This rain like we're having today is definitely going to help. Definitely going to make everything easier and brighter and greener. All right. Let's head on down here. Eduardo, you're wondering why there are so many fallen trees. Well, there are a couple of reasons. First of all, when a tree dies, we don't take it out of the bush. So this is just trees that have been living here, but also dying for hundreds and hundreds of years. But also we've had some elephants that come around and push them down, particularly trees that are a little bit softer. They prefer them and they start breaking the branches from the top, or they want to just open them, or sometimes the males just push them down as a show of their strength in comparison to some of the other males that might be in the area. And then when we get really bad thunderstorms, really bad lightning as well, some of the trees die because they get struck by lightning. And then they just eventually start weathering down, falling down, and then you just see them poof, go onto the side. And the beauty about this environment is whatever happens, we don't really interfere. So if a tree falls down somewhere, we just leave it there. Might not look tidy a lot of the times, but it's just exactly what needs to happen for a lot of animals to have more access to food and to survive. Because as soon as a tree falls down, then you can imagine the branches create perfect new hideaways for more creatures, but then all of the nutrients that are within the tree, as the tree starts weathering down, and they go back into the soil. Just want to have a look at the... No, these are... What tracks are these? Oh, today would be the day for a pangolin. Whew! I would die. Alright. We're heading on to this particular road with a very beautiful large balanitis tree to try and see if we can find any tracks for the lions around here, just to see if maybe they've come back into their area. But no, haven't spotted any tracks yet, so I am hoping that they didn't carry on walking out of Djuma and then straight into some of the other reserves around us. It's looking very, very misty. I think maybe Senzo. Let's just try to show this here, just so that everyone gets a little bit more of an idea of just how misty this morning is and how rainy it is. I apologize for the pole. Unfortunately, it's part of our roof so that we keep our equipment safe. There we go. But it's just like this morning. We had all this rain going on, and you can see that it hasn't really stopped at all. It's just carried on. So normally when it starts raining like this, we get, as soon as the sun starts coming out, it almost calms down and then we don't have any more rain. But I don't think it's actually stopped in all this while. So it's looking very, very particular. Very beautiful view. Alright, Sunshine, we are ready for you whenever you're ready. Let's carry on this way. Now, what are you tracks? Not too much here. Sorry, for a second there I haven't heard from Lou, and she's always in my head, her voice. Lou is the director in FC today, so when I don't hear from her from a while, then I start worrying that perhaps something has gone wrong. No, please don't leave us alone, Lou. You're our only company, you and Rex. And of course everybody else who's also watching. She says she'll never leave us. Good. That's exactly what we were aiming for. Now, creatures of the bush. I'd be happy to even see a little spider moving anywhere around. Little diker. Perhaps an aardvark going back into its hole. Trying to figure out. No, this is not a lion track. So I wonder where these guys are going to go off to. Now, also not. I think I've followed the tracks of lions so many times on this road that I'm just hoping to see it at every turn of events, and everything that almost looks like a disturbance on the road, my heart already skips a beat and is like, oh, no, no. So that's what's going on in my head right now. Ooh. I feel like it started raining a little bit harder now as well. It's fine. If it gets really bad, I've got oversized clothes. Very large, oversized, waterproof clothes that I bought from one of the trustworthy shops, but they only had an XL size, so it's quite big for me. But I'm not afraid. Worst case scenario, we'll put that on. Gary, you're wondering when did the summer start around here? Well, summer is starting now. So normally finishes, or it is said that on the 1st of September, that's when we get our spring, and then summer pretty much shortly afterwards. But the true rains, or the large sum of the rain, we should start getting it from November onwards. It's not uncommon to get rain in September though. And last year and the year before, we've had drier years, and compared to what we normally get in terms of water millimeters or rain millimeters per year in this particular area. So to get all the rain we can is probably a good thing for a lot of the animals as well. Fly away, little doves. Go. Alright. I would definitely like to see the lions, because I would just like to show everyone the faces that they make when they're getting wet. It's so funny. It's almost like a normal cat. That look on their face of just pure, I don't even hate against the water. It's not even hatred. It's just, they're just a grumpy. It's like, it's not, water is not their thing. Alright, haven't picked up any tracks around here, and Rex hasn't called in any tracks on his side either. So perhaps they're still somewhere inside Djuma. Sleepy lions? I wouldn't be surprised if they're all actually cuddled underneath a bush, just trying to keep warm. Now, what are these? Nope. Well, seems like finally we will be able to see another person that I'm sure everyone's going to be very happy to see, all the way from Kenya. Mr. Stef is back.
Hello everybody! It's been a fun-filled morning for the first time back here at Djuma in about 6 months. For those of you who don't know who I am, that's Ali there, and I'm Stef. And basically we've been sorting out a series of things today, resulting from this rain that we've been having, which has been fantastic. So this time of the year, having these misty mornings that end up turning into something that's a little bit, yes, it's not quite rain, but it's not quite mist either, are quite common as the season changes now. And I must be honest with you, it's created a bit of havoc, from batteries not charging properly to rain covers to the whole bang sheet. I'll tell you, it's been a fun-filled morning so far, but to be honest with you, it's sort of what spices up these days as well, so why not, basically. What have we been doing this morning so far? We've, in terms of animal-wise at least anyway, we've heard some lions roaring. It sounded like some male lions roaring south of where we are. What are we going to do is we're going to be limping this vehicle back to the workshop. There's been a clutch failure this morning on this car, so at the moment I am gingerly trying not to engage the clutch and not to over rev the engine too much, so that we can get her back to OPA to see what's wrong with her. I don't even know what car we're in. Vim, what car are we in? Rusty. We're in Rusty at the moment. As Vim quite rightly points out, the one with the hole in the floor. And Louise tells me that there's a couple of you out there that are quite excited to see me back at Djuma and back in the driving seat. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. You'll have my company while Tristan and Ali go on a much deserved break for the next 7 days or so, and I hope to spice up things with a bunch of walks and a bunch of cars and I don't know, whatever else we can put on the system so far. Is it different being here? It's actually been quite amazing to come back here after being away for so long, especially in such a green and vibrant place as the Mara. You know, when I left here and I went up there, you're always inevitably going to be comparing the two, and it wasn't such a big change for me to go from here to there, but the change from there to here has been extreme. It's obviously winter here. Not only is it winter, but it's also our dry season, so it's compounded with this scorched, bleak landscape that we have, as opposed to that very green, vibrant, also rainy Mara. But there's a different feel to here. There's a different smell to here. It's crazy. And I actually thought that the drive all the way down here from Kenya, I drove myself down from there over a course of about nine days or so. I actually thought that would have acclimatized me to winter, but it hasn't. Absolutely. I mean, I must be honest. I think I crossed the border into South Africa from Botswana. And I think it's because I drove through the Kalahari. So the Kalahari extends into Botswana, and you drive basically from the Zambezi River all the way through the Kalahari until you get into South Africa. And I think that desert part there, I mean, you expect the desert to be sandy and dry and grey this time of the year. But I didn't expect it to be like this. For some reason, against all odds, I suppose. I mean, I've been working in this area now for almost close to 2 decades. You'd think that I'd be used to the winter here. But I must be honest, the clouds came with me, which is a good thing, and I'm looking forward to this particular change of seasons. Louise, could you just reply with Mike's question again? Sorry, it was just very soft there for me. Mike, you wanted to know when winter in Africa is. Africa stretches from about 22 degrees south all the way to the Mediterranean, which is right up in the northern hemisphere. And so winter and summer will change on a global scale across the length of the continent. In South Africa, we have winter here, probably, if I were to put a date to it, from about the 1st of June to the 1st of September. 1st of June to 1st of September, I would say, is winter months here. And there's definitely a change of seasons, not as dramatic as it is further north or further south than here, but definitely a big change of seasons. In the Mara, in Kenya, there is no winter and summer because it's right on the equator, but there is a wet and a dry season, 2 in actual fact, 2 wets and 2 dries. And so there you don't have a winter and a summer, and there's no real season there. You don't see leaves changing.
Oh, sorry guys, seems like we're also fighting in our own way the gremlins around, just trying to put some more rain covers and just protect ourselves and everything else from the rain. But how nice was it to see Stefan back at Djuma? I'm sure he's very happy to be back here. He just says that he's going to take it easy and explore Djuma again as if he's never seen it before. Which I'm sure it's the best thing to do. I was away for about 6, maybe 8 weeks, and also when I came back I felt like everything was different and everything had changed. So Stef has been gone for a little while longer, so I understand the feeling, and it's a great sense of, ooh, let me just go and explore everything and see how everything is going and how everything is doing. It is wonderful, I won't lie. Now we still haven't come across any tracks for lions, so I think we're gonna finish this road and then head back north, see if perhaps there isn't something that's been missed around there, because we know that lions like walking quite a bit. In this particular weather conditions, they probably walk more than what they would in a very hot summer day. They don't really have to worry about overheating or anything in that sense. And I just keep checking. If you see me going onto the side and tilting over, I'm just trying to look for tracks on the road, just to make sure that I keep everything under sight. Wouldn't want to miss the tracks and then perhaps the possibility of spotting a lion. What is that? There's a squirrel alarming. And where is the squirrel? Squirrel. I don't think it's that far. Copy, Aubrey, can I come and join you? Let's see. Alright, I'm going to swap around. Because it seems like the Nkuhumas have been found. So, Aubrey, confirm, can I come and join you that side? Maybe he can't hear me, but seeing we've been helping these guys from the beginning and that there aren't too many of us out there. Copy, thanks Rex. Right, not too far from where we were actually heading. Although we wanted to check this road first because I thought that Rex was on the other side, but then Aubrey also intervened and then he checked the road that none of us had checked, and that's where he found them. Woohoo! So we're gonna make our way there. I think we are about maybe 5-10 minutes away from where they are, just because there's no direct road onto that area. We've got to go around, but yay! Let's hope that they stick around there until we get there. Let's see what else. Alright, I'm gonna try going a little bit faster just because I don't want to miss them. I want to make sure that they stay there. And in this weather, cats make me a little bit nervous in the sense that it's not uncommon for them to start moving around. Now, maybe we're gonna get there and they're gonna be completely asleep and not moving around, but rather than miss the opportunity, I'd rather just keep focus and go. Who knows, maybe we'll bump into something else on here. And it's funny how sometimes when you least expect it, that's when some of the things are going to be moving around. I know that Rexon also had tracks for some of the Birmingham boys that he was busy following up on. Actually, no, this is going to take me the long way around. So rather, let's stick to this road. Very exciting times. I haven't seen the Nkuhumas since before I went away, I don't think. So it'll be very exciting to see them again. Alright, racing off to the lions we are. I think everyone is looking forward to seeing the lions, myself very much included. Now, let's go down this road. The FC girls are also very excited to see the lions. So we're going. Don't move, lions, stay where you are. Now, unfortunately, it seems like there's a bit of a radio breakup in between Aubrey and myself, because whenever he talks, I can't really hear him all that well, and the same thing happens to him. I think there's a situation of a broken telephone. But luckily, Rex is relaying all the messages, so I think this is going to work. And thankfully, because it's a rainy day, not too many people are out on drive. Haha! So that makes everything a little bit easier too. Alrighty, here we go. I don't want to go too fast because we are putting on a lot of things. Sylvie, you're wondering if the three new little cubs are with them. Well, I'm hoping they are because I haven't met them yet. But I suppose we're going to find out only... Oh my goodness, look at all this flock of hornbills. We're going to find out as soon as we get there. The guys just mentioned that they found the Nkuhuma Pride of Lions. Haven't really given any more updates in that regard as to how many individuals there are. So I suppose we can all hold our breath and hope for the best until we get there. And I think because we are not too far, maybe it can be a surprise. If they are there, wonderful, great news. Super send off to all of us, but if they're not, then, well, probably doing their job, being good mothers and tucking them away. So let's see. Haha. So many bumps on this road. That's one of the things that I felt had changed when I got back. I felt like there were more bumps on the roads. Perhaps they are. I'm not sure. Maybe it's just me making it up. But I do know that the guys have been doing a lot of road maintenance and expanding certain roads and making sure the fire breaks are all good, because this becomes a tricky time of the year. Yeah, I can, but I'm just can't really hear a lot of what the guys are saying. Sorry. It's probably better because everything's coming out muffled. I think we've now put on so many covers that I can't really hear a lot of what's going on. We've done too much of a good job covering everything up. And it almost seems like the rain has stopped a little bit. I don't think it's as bad as what it was a few moments ago, or perhaps it's just starting to catch up with us now, because the view that we were showing us is directly to my right hand side, and it seems like all the rain is coming from there. So whew. Now let's see. Whoa. Alright, sorry, Lou's trying to speak to me, but I think it's because of all the covers and everything we've put on that I can't hear a lot of what she's saying, so I'm sure I'll be able to decipher it. Oh, look. Alright, up you go, little dove. We're looking for a big cat. Alright, we're definitely on the right track, so hopefully the pretty girls will be there. I would be very excited to see them. It's always a nice thing. I don't think we're too far away. Lou, I can somewhat copy you. You're coming through very muffled. That is Louise from FC talking into my ear. But it sounds very strange, and I'm sure it's the weather that's affecting pretty much everything, or perhaps all of the layers that we've put on the camera and around the radios and everything else to protect them from the water. Because as sturdy as a lot of this equipment is, the water has a funny way of just getting in all the wrong places. Meta, you're 8 years old and you're wondering if the sawing of a leopard can travel as far as the roar of a lion. And well, no, it can travel very fast, but lions are very well known for their roar to be able to travel further away. They are bigger animals. There's a lot more force poured into it. And just to explain it better, they have bigger voices. So the ones of the lions tend to travel further than the ones of a leopard. So lions, I believe, about maybe 8 to 10 kilometers, and leopards, if they reach very far away, that might be about 8. Okay, there we go. This is going to be wonderful. We almost need like some background music for this. I wish I could sing. Alright, which way are we going to go? The guys are going to move, so just hold on 1 second, because this is going to be... I'm already so excited I can't even talk. So there's a car in front of us that's just deciding... They're deciding what they want to do, so as soon as they move, then we're going to be in. And again, if you've got any song from The Lion King, this is the time to play it and just hear it in the background. It's that good. Luckily for me, Lou's singing it in my ear. I'm getting goosebumps. I want to start crying. Well done, Senzo. Now let's get to the lions and you can do that again. Woohoo! What a sight, guys! What a sight! Alright, Senzo, this is your time to shine and to sing. Do you need me to go forward? Alright. Hang on. Positioning of the car with the roof, not the easiest one. More? Alright. Sorry, guys. Like I said, definitely worth it. Waiting for all of this. Senzo, if you want to start singing, this is your cue. This is so special to see all of them on top of a termite mound. I don't think I've seen lions on top of a termite mound in a very long time. What a stunning view. What a stunning view. I'm just so thrilled this is. And they're all looking quite sleepy, and who knows, maybe they're tired of having their paws wet. That looks like the face of a very unimpressed kitty. Are you tired of being wet? Oh, that is... wow. Yeah, you might be jealous of the roofs, as Lou says. I'm sure it's probably the case. I think they've actually just gotten tired of getting wet and walking through all the grass, because they've chosen one very bare spot. And they're all... I can count 4 heads from here. Oh. Aren't you guys pretty? Look at you, all sleeping tucked in on top of that termite mound. It is wonderful. Oh, so sweet. This is... I think this has got to be one of my favorite views of them. Wigwam Sam, you're wondering if we have no fear of the big cats pouncing on the car. Well, in this particular area, no. The lions that we see here, they've all been seeing cars since they were cubs, and they're all used to us coming around and moving around. So moving and approaching them and just making noises and smelling the way that we do. So you see, actually, when we got here, they might have just been like, oh, what's going on? And then they've carried on sleeping. So they're absolutely not bothered by us. They're not being sneaky or try to get to us. They just really don't care. Look at that face. That face says, I'm not really bothered. I want your roof. I don't want to be wet anymore. But even if they were to come down of the termite mound, often they would walk around us and just walk straight past the car and be fine. I have had experiences though with it was male lions. It was the Nwatsitsaka males that came from Kruger when I used to work further south in this reserve. Look at all their little wet hairs. That they hadn't seen as many vehicles, and they hadn't seen people or trackers in the front of the vehicles. So those particular lions were a bit grumpy around cars. So we had to give them quite a fair amount of space. And whenever we approached them, then the trackers would come back into the seat. And then eventually, as the months carried on, they became a little bit more relaxed. But then they went back into Kruger, and we didn't see them again. But those males were massive male lions. But that's the only cases, and they will still see a lot of car and tourist cars around Kruger, so they already had a notion, a perception of what the cars are and how to deal with them. But I mean, I just want to go and cuddle with all of them in that pile of lions, which probably would get me eaten. But one can dream. Stanley times 3, you're wondering if it's warmer on top of the mound. Well, it could be, but I don't think it would be significantly warmer. We know that hot air rises and cold air stays below, but I doubt that that is high enough to warrant much of a temperature difference. I think they're just up there because it's a drier spot. It's not as wet on top of the termite mound as it is all around us. And the good thing is, big enough termite mound just to make sure that everyone's fits in there. Oh, what a pretty view of these lions. You're so pretty. And they're all so sleepy, all of them. See another head tilting up. Look at all the rain. So you can appreciate now just how much water we've had and how the elements are always something to bear in mind for all the wildlife. Not only do they have to hunt their own food and go after them, but also they've got to be out here in the rain and just pretty much endure it. Today hasn't been that bad because it hasn't been pouring down, but I think that little grumpy face that we were talking about cats having when they get rained upon, it's almost like, oh, why me? It's a tragedy being wet, isn't it? Such a pretty lion face. I think this is warming my heart up. Look at all those ears. Beautiful. Stacy, you're wondering if it's just the cubs and no adults around. Well, I was actually wondering the same thing myself, because I don't know if there are some more on the other side of the mound. So I'm going to give it a little bit of a chance, as I keep, some of them at least, tilting their head up. And we're going to go see. If it's just the cubs, it could mean that the mothers have gone around hunting and they've left them behind while they've moved off. Like I said, I can only count 4 heads. I don't know if maybe some more of them are in the vicinity, or if some more are just on the other side of the mound. I think it's a bit of a mystery that we'll have to solve in the next few minutes. But for now, I think we can enjoy this view of all of them. Proud cat mama, you're wondering how old these lions are. Well, not 100% sure, but they are probably heading on to just over a year. Now, everybody out there that's got a proper age of them can help me out using the hashtag #SafariLive and just let us know exactly how old they are. I'm going to say probably about 1.5 years. As I was here in May when I first saw them, and they were already about 8 months old. So I'm going to guess somewhere around there. And there are 3 tiny new additions onto this pride. However, those ones are still very small and being kept in very close vicinity to its mother, just because they are so small. So they are about 1/3, if even, of the size of this ones that we're looking at right now. I think maybe let's try going around. Charlene, you're saying that Senza and I have gotten very lucky and that you're happy we got to see the lions. Us too, very much so, especially on top of a termite mound, which is not something that you get to see every day. I'm going to go around and see if maybe there are some more lions on this side. Not too sure how I'm going to get there. But we are also very happy that we're able to share the sighting with everyone. Now, I think maybe the roof upsets them a little bit. No more lions here. No, it's just the 4 youngsters here on top of this termite mound. I can't see any more lions anywhere else. Just these guys over here, who are now looking at us with a very unimpressed face. Because I'm sure they didn't want us to wake them up, but they've carried on sleeping, which is always what we want. We want them to carry on doing their own thing. Now, I wonder where the females have gone off to, because the tracks clearly led here, or led us here, and that's why Aubrey found them. Rex did mention that there were tracks for 2 males heading west and crossing out of Djuma. So I wonder if maybe some of them have actually gone all the way to past the boundary and they're just looking for food, or if they're somewhere around here. It wouldn't be uncommon for female lions or lionesses just to leave their cubs behind while they go off hunting. So pretty. Huh. Going back to sleep. It's tough being a lion. Such pretty things. Now, definitely only 4 heads around here that I can count. And they're all pretty much in the same comatose state. They are enjoying the fact that it's nice and rainy so that they can have morning cuddles. That's pretty much what they're doing. Now, if they were humans, likely they would be asking for some coffee. Oh, look at that beautiful stretch. Oh. Seems very appropriate that everybody's getting coffee. Luckily, I also have my very big cup to keep me warm today, seeing I have no lion friends, sisters or brothers to keep me warm like they all are. What a great spot you guys have chosen. I'm so proud of you. I'm so thankful. Seems like they are a bit, it's not a deep sleep like some of the lions do. They keep putting their heads up and so on. So I'm sure they're also just keeping an eye out, waiting for the mothers to come back. But I'm impressed at how much these lions have grown in the last few weeks. Like I haven't seen them for about 2 months. I think that would be the right amount of time, unless I'm forgetting a time in between. But it's just amazing to see again how much they've grown in such little time. I almost feel like they've doubled in size since the last time that I saw them. Which is great news for them. Means that whatever it is that it's happening, they've been growing up very good. Rashni, thank you so much for helping us with the exact date of the, well, not exact, but an approximate age of the cubs. You say that they are between, or they range between 1.5 years and 14 months. Good. So I wasn't too far off in my calculations. And they look about the right size for that, although I've always been impressed by the Nkuhuma lions and their cubs because they always look bigger and healthier than some of the lions we get in the Sabi sands, and it is really a stunning pride of lions. They always, I don't know, there's something about them that just says they're doing well, they're healthy, especially if compared to some of the other lions that we get in the area where they're sometimes not looking as wonderful as this one's. I'm very happy for you guys. Keeping well all the way up there. Now, very likely they're going to carry on sleeping here for the next few hours, but I doubt they'll be that they'll be on top of this termite mound for this afternoon's game drive. It'll be interesting to see, but I have a feeling the females might come and collect them and then they're going to carry on moving. Because weather like this is great in the sense that you manage to perhaps have a glimpse of more animals being active, but also it just a lot of the times mean that wherever it is that you leave them, they might not be there in the afternoon, just because the weather conditions are enough for them to get up and then start moving. And we are not too far from our boundary, so if they carried on walking west, then they could cross the boundary and then keep on moving. But luckily for once, as we all say, they have stopped in the Djuma gym. They didn't carry on moving past this track, and we got lucky with the view of them, because I know Tristan had to work very hard yesterday to try and find that male lion. As he left him, couldn't figure out what was in between the bushes, but he thinks that this Birmingham boy was actually meeting up with the rest of the pride, because the pride didn't, because the weather was somewhat similar to what it is today, the pride hadn't stayed where they left them in the morning and had moved off, and then they couldn't find them again. So I wonder if perhaps the Birmingham boy didn't actually meet up with them and then they've carried on moving, because we do know that at least 2 of the Birmingham boys are together again. I think that one's my favorite for now. Seems to be sleeping in the most regal way. And the size of their paws, very big as well. When we see someone, we say that he's got big paws. I think it's the same with the cubs, with the Nkuhuma Cubs. They've got very big paws, so I'm sure they still have a lot to grow, or at least into their paws and their ears. They still look a little bit funny, as if things are not really quite supposed to be that way. And good news on the other side is that it seems like it's finally stopped raining. So I'm sure the lions are going to be very happy, and we are going to be very happy not to get wet for the next little while. John, you're wondering what my favorite thing about lions is. Well, I think my favorite thing about lions is their social dynamics and their family structure. Now, it's very unique, and it's the only sociable cat, and I think lions can be quite radical in the way that they approach each other. So by these I mean, a lot of the times when you'll see them together, they will fight each other for food, and it becomes a fierce fight if they're eating a buffalo, and like, this is my piece, and they growl at each other and they hurt each other. But at the same time, they are so fiercely loyal to each other. If anything else comes around that might try to attack them, particularly a pride of females and their young ones, I've seen some lionesses do some incredible things just for the sake of the pride, and just to try and protect their pride from and just give the rest of the pride a chance while they perhaps take the brunt of it. And it's one of those things, as they say, if they can have their fights in between them, but if anything else from the outside dares to even come close to them, then they'll have to face the rage of all the lions united together. And I think that is my favorite thing, just seeing how these dynamics change and how they move and where they go and how they face all of the other potential lions or males coming into the area. I just find it fascinating. To me, it's like watching the best soap opera possible. It's just, you never know what's going to happen. And with lions, you might have a certain set of conditions and you get used to it, and you're like, this is the way things are going to happen, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, everything changes, and then new lions come in, or this one, they move somewhere else, or then, they start mating with these random males, and they start doing things that you would never expect them to do. So I think that's my favorite thing about them, just to be able to observe them over a period of time and see what actually they get up to. That to me is priceless with lions. I remember on one occasion there is one particular lioness that I truly enjoyed when I was working at Lions Hands, and she's known as Floppy Ear because she's got a broken ear. And I remember that the pride had been going through a takeover from new males coming around into the area, because they used to associate with one particular male. We used to call them the Kruger male, and then the new Hilda's Rock Pride males came around into the area, and it was just a lot of stress for the females, because clearly all of the cubs got killed now because there is this territorial fight in between the two males. So the new coming males got hold of the cubs, and that was it. So the females started mating with both males, or both groups of males, just to try and confuse them all pretty much. So I remember seeing this particular female one time. The males were on opposite sides of the reserve, and this Floppy Ear, she went and she started mating with this one male that was on his own. He was quite an older male, and I think that they were just tired and they wanted to get this over and done with, as in, like, if you stay, you stay, if you get killed, you get killed, but we don't want to carry on living in between, because now this had been going on for months. So she went and started mating, and every time he would approach her, she would run a little bit, and then he would follow her after, and then he would get a little bit closer, and then she would carry on, and then eventually she dragged him across the reserve, because her whole point was to drag him all the way back onto those male lions, because she went in a straight line all the way to where those three males were waiting for him. I don't think they knew that she was bringing him, but I think she was trying to provoke a fight to just get an outcome. And I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I was just like, and then also I've seen lionesses when I think it might have even been her. She's a very clever cat. New young males came into the areas, but they weren't really going to stay, and they were busy feeding off a buffalo. They've managed to kill a buffalo, so the females came around, but the males were very protective of their kill. Now these were young males. They were about maybe 2.5, maybe 3 years old, and they wouldn't let the females mate with them. So this particular lioness also, she started pretending that she was in estrus, and she started presenting herself to them, and eventually she started dragging them away from the kill, giving the rest of the lionesses a chance to go and feed on that particular buffalo. So it was quite an interesting thing to watch. But then of course the young males realized what was going on, and they went back to their kill and chased everyone off. So you see, it's things like this that allow you a glimpse of how actually their brain works, and how clever they are, and how they solve problems in between their own environment. I think that just keeps dragging me back to lions. I find them fascinating, the way they behave. Now, what you looking at in that direction? Probably nothing. Very beautiful. What a stunning way to start our very windy morning, and happy to know that I didn't break Tristan's cat streak. I don't think he could have forgiven me for that. Cute chemistry. You're wondering what I think these lions are thinking about. Well, I think a few of them are not thinking, in the sense that they're probably just asleep and they've gone up. Maybe they're dreaming of warmer places and a big chunk of buffalo. But just by their attitude and what they were looking at yesterday, I think they're almost waiting for the females to come back, or they've gone all the way up here keeping an eye out because they want to know what's going on and where their parents have gone and where they're going to go next. So it's almost like there's a bit of apprehension. Nothing to be concerned about, but you know, when you're waiting for someone and waiting for someone to come knock at the door, you're almost edgy, but not in a bad way. You're kind of just expectant of something to happen, and I think maybe that's what they're thinking about. They'll raise their hands like, is it them? No, okay, you can carry on sleeping. And then they wake up like, but what if they get here? And then they carry on looking in that direction. Rex had stopped a little bit further down the road, so we're gonna go exploring there in a little while, see if maybe the rest of the lions are actually there, if the females are there, and if it's just the cubs that are all the way up here. Lions and termite mounds, and yesterday we had Tamba on a termite mound. What a time, as Megan would say, what a time. Actually, you're wondering how the lionesses communicate to the cubs that they must stay behind. Well, that is one of science's biggest mysteries. Now, sometimes they'll give a low contact call, and then obviously the cubs will understand that they can't go any further. But most of the times there appears to be no communication whatsoever, no vocal communication whatsoever. So a lot of the times we think it's just by instinct, that they already know from the body posture of the mothers and their behavior, as in like, okay, this is as far as we go. Because as far as I know, science hasn't managed to find out exactly what it is that happens, that the cubs know that this is as far as they go. I would put it a lot into instinct, that they know, what can you smell up there in the air? I think that they just grasp the sense of what's going on around them, perhaps the smells, the posture, the way that the mothers are walking, if they've eaten in the last few days or not, and then they just pretty much take it from there. You seem to be the most alert one. It's definitely raising its head and smelling something up in the air. So I wonder, maybe there are more lions around. I kind of want to see them go down the termite mound and then go all the way back up. Yeah, definitely smelling something. I don't know what it could be, because unfortunately my sense of smell is not that good. But there's another head sticking up. Hey, they're almost expecting someone to come back, as we were discussing earlier. Now, let's see. I'm not sure if I can see anything else around here. Maybe. Oh, hello. Looking at us now. Beautiful boy. Was the other one there? Rex, where there more Ngala that side? Okay. Alright. Shub. Thanks. Alright, so no, it doesn't seem like there were more lions around, so we've just got the youngsters here. Wonder where the females have gone off to. I think maybe they just carried on moving and looking for food. Maybe it's hard for them to look for food at this time, or in this particular atmospheric conditions. Huh. This is good. Oh no, sorry guys, I'm just been... I just don't know. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to listen to the radio. Just to try and figure out what's going on, because somebody called something in, but I can't figure out what it is that's been called in. Sorry Mike, can you just go again with the update that Rald gave? It sounded for a second, I don't know if they were talking. Okay, copy. Seems like we were right on our first call this morning. It seems like there's a leopard that's coming all the way from Little Gowrie heading north towards Twindam. So there are a few vehicles that are closer to that area, so we're gonna stick around with the lions and let these guys go and have a look. But I think had the gremlins not attacked us, then we would have been on the right track. Although I think things happen for a reason. Maybe if we had gone all the way down there, then we wouldn't have seen the Nkuhumas. So the guys are going to keep us updated. And we'll find out what's going on. Now, what you guys looking at? I'm very puzzled. I'm going to go a little bit further back and see if maybe we can see. I think maybe we're gonna stick around with them for a little while, and then we'll just let the guys update us in terms of what happens with that leopard. No idea on that leopard, but it's turning out to be quite a morning, even if it's been quite a rainy one. Hello, pretty lions. Sorry, Lou, I believe you had a question for me? Mike, you're wondering if the termites are still inside this mound. No, this seems to be an inactive termite mound, and the reason why I'm saying that is because it doesn't seem like it's quite eroded on the sides, especially where the lions are sleeping now, and also lots of grass coming out from the mound. Normally when termite mounds are active, because there's a lot of activity going on and a lot of them moving around, then it's hard. It's of a darker color, and there isn't as much vegetation growing from the mound itself, because often the termites will come out of their termite mounds during the night, and then they'll start chewing on vegetation to use it to then grow the fungus in their fungus garden, really down below the termite mound. So I don't think, and even if the mound was active, lions wouldn't really pose too much of a problem for them, other than destroying a little bit the top part of the termite mound, because they wouldn't really eat the termites. The termites are not that big, unless we're talking about the alates that come out once a year, those very big future kings and queens of all the colonies, and those ones they might be interested in perhaps feeding upon. But lions normally don't take interest in such creatures. It's more in the eagles and smaller mammals that eat the alates. Keep looking and gazing very intently in that direction. So I wonder if he's looking at something. Seems like Stef has decided that going in a car is not his style, so he has decided to go on a walkabout.
Hello, and yes, we finally managed it out on walk. I don't have a fine sheen of perspiration around my weary brow yet this morning because it's fairly chilly, but we've been running around like crazy. But we're finally out, which is a good thing, and this is exactly what I've been waiting for the last couple of months. I've really missed the bushwalk, and our plan is just to head off into the wild blue yonder and see what we can see. I know Ali's got some lions that she's been showing you. There's been some lions roaring around this morning. We've taken a bit of a a tour up to the Gari mast. There were some tracks on the floor there. It looked like a hyena. It could have been wild dog. There's been some wild dog around, so who knows what we're going to be finding. This is the dry season here in the Sabi Sands, and of course the best thing about the dry season in the Sabi Sands is the Sand River, which lies not too far away, right over there, and that is a massive draw card for a bunch of elephants. At the last winter census that they did, there was over 800 elephant in this area during the dry season, and that is exactly what we're in at the moment. This grey, cloudy, damp weather is the herald of the season to change. Of course, our spring day was on the 1st of September, and we can only expect more of these grey, overcast, cloudy days as we go ahead, and as we basically enjoy the change of the season. What I'd like to do is just give you a snapshot of. This is the quarantine clearings. It's a clearing that we come out to almost every morning on the bushwalk, and you will see that this will feature, this open area, this clearing will feature heavily in the months to come. And what I invite you to do is just take a snapshot of this area. Take a screenshot, save it under a file that says, I don't know, end of September 2018, and correspond it with the end of January, or even the 1st of January 2018. Sorry, September 2017. I'm living in different worlds at the moment. September 2017 versus January 2018, and you'll notice that where we're walking right now will be an absolute field of green, to the point where we'd have to actually be lifting up our legs to walk across this open area. To walk unobstructed like this is going to be a difficult thing. This now is a field. Last year we didn't have too many of it. This is the devil's thorn, or the we make soap out of it, and it grows from this plant here. You can see this. Now this has been trampled on and it's been abused a little bit by the animals living on here, but this is a very healthy plant actually. You can see it here, one of the healthiest that are around, and they give rise to this thorn here, the devil's thorn, named because of those two horns that you can see. There we go. And it is perfectly suited to be distributed by cloven-hoofed animals. The thorn itself sticks not too deep into the hoof of an animal. It's a very robust thorn. And then that scalloped, rounded seed pod that you can see there is so that it doesn't snag on anything. And that's how the seed disperses itself to a new area. It gets stuck to an animal's hoof, or to the pad, an elephant's pad, and basically the animal battles to brush it off because of this shape. And when it finally does fall off, it's further away from its parent root. So what I'll do is I'll show you. These things are remarkably effective at dispersing themselves. So let's put one down there on the floor. There are lots of them here actually, so we can put down two there. Step on it. Didn't go through my shoe, and as you can see, I've picked one up and I'm walking with it underneath my foot. There, you can see it there. And as I'm walking, I can feel that there's something there. I'm trying to brush it off. Not working, and eventually it comes off somewhere here. It fell off somewhere here, and that's exactly how it gets planted. So the animal brushes off the seed, but at the same time puts it into the sand, and that's where the new sheep's thorn or devil's thorn will grow. Isn't that amazing? Just Mother Nature sort of at its doing what it does. Very nice. Jojo, you say it's good to see me back on bushwalk and you've missed Herbie's smile. I must say that I'm also glad to be out on bushwalk, and this is the first time I've seen Herbert in about 6 months, and I've also missed his smile. Hey Herbie, everyone wants to say hello to you. So for those who haven't been part of the bushwalk for too long, the bushwalk is made up of a 3-man crew. It is made up of a cameraman, VM in this particular case, is holding the camera that allows you to see what we're doing, and it's made up of Herbie, which is our game scout. He's in charge of the security detail. He creates a safe zone around us while we're busy walking. Obviously, while VM and I are busy producing a show together, we've got people speaking in our ears. We're talking to you all over the world through a camera, and we're not really aware of our environment. And so Herbie and the Game Scout's position is there to keep us nice and safe. And then, of course, a presenter who is myself mostly, with all my other colleagues that also from time to time enjoy the bushwalk. And it's my job to sort of interpret what's going on in the bush around us. And the goal of the bushwalk is not really to get as close to the lions as what Ali is this morning, for instance. The reason for that is that you just can't. Animals have grown to trust the vehicles in this particular area. We don't hunt them from the vehicles. We don't feed them from the vehicles. We don't do anything. We don't interact with them at all. We just watch. We just observe. We basically parachute into their lives from a vehicle. And over the decades that the Sabi Sands has been in existence, the animals have built up this trust with the vehicle, and that as a unit. People, on the other hand, have been in competition with animals for food and for space for centuries, for thousands upon thousands, tens of thousands of years. And over this time, animals have built up a genetic awareness of human beings on foot and see us as a threat. And quite rightly so. We're the world's most vicious, most dangerous animal. And so animals have this, we call it comfort zones. In a vehicle, the comfort zones are very small. People on foot, the comfort zones are very large. And so you don't want to get too close to a mother and calf elephant, for instance. You don't want to be close to lions on foot. You don't want to be close to buffalo on foot. Although it does happen, and it's quite exciting when you do get so. A magic experience to be close to these enormous animals when you don't have the, I'm going to say protection of a vehicle, but when you don't have the perception of the safe zone around a vehicle, at least anyway. But for the most part, all we try and do from these particular areas is to try and interpret what's going on in the bush around us at a micro level, just like this right here. So right here, if you can see, the sand is discolored, and what this tells me is that something was lying here last night. Sand of this, it's very different to the surrounding sand, has been kicked up. And what I can tell from this area is, you walk a little bit closer and you have a look at the tracks, and what's immediately apparent is all these wildebeest tracks everywhere. So this is a wildebeest track right here. You can see that they have these quite like sausage shaped tracks. Very boxy front track coupled with a quite sharp back track. So this is where a wildebeest came and lay. You probably found that there was a herd of wildebeest on quarantine clearings quite early this morning, and they would have moved off these clearings to go and look for some grass to eat as soon as the sun came up. And this particular patch that we've been seeing is where a male wildebeest has his spot where he lies up. So they will come and lie up in this area. They quite like to paw the ground and to kick the ground around, and that is exactly what we've seen here. Is a male wildebeest has come and pawed up this ground, and what he's doing is he's making it smell like him. Wildebeest have got an overactive gland between the hooves of their front feet, and male wildebeest especially will paw the ground, and that helps to push out the secretion from the gland between their hooves, and that then goes onto the sand, and then other wildebeest in this area know that it's his spot, basically. This is a way of marking territory. Alright, so why don't we send you back over to Ali, who, as far as I know, is still sitting with those cats.
Right, sorry about that, guys. We have left the lions, like I was saying earlier, because they still went back to sleep, and we also just wanted to see if perhaps the lionesses were somewhere else. So we found their tracks, but they roughly were moving into M, which is our boundary row. So I'm going to just carry on driving around here, see if maybe we can come across anything else while we make our way into the general area where the leopard was seen, which was around Treen Dams. But just to make it more interesting, it seems like it's a female, so that rules out Hosanna and Tamba, which I would have assumed would have been the ones that we would have come across there. So she is apparently moving in a bit of a very tough block, but we are heading in that direction, so hopefully we'll be able to see who it is. No news as to who it is, which I think it's probably even more interesting. Ooh, this road. It's a proper African massage road, this one. Alright, but I can't really complain. This road has actually been good to us, and it's provided with some very nice sightings, so I think we're just going to have to endure it for a little while longer. Until we get to where we want to get. That's probably to see some spots, and then we can take it from there. We can always go back to the lions and then have another look and see what they get up to. Although I'm pretty sure Stef would also like to go and have a look later on this afternoon and see if the lions have stayed there, if they've moved, or perhaps he would want to go and follow up on the leopards. Endless possibilities for Stef this afternoon. But at least it seems like some of his old friends have come back to welcome him. Now there's a car parked in a very funny way in the middle of the road, just ahead of us. So I wonder if they're not looking at something. Fortunately, I don't really want to drive that much faster for fear of disassembling the whole car. They're on Arethusa's side. What you guys looking at? Maybe that's where those two male lions went off to. Tammy, you're wondering how many different types of leopards we get in this area? Well, we only get one species of leopard, and only one species of leopard, yes. It's very, pretty much that's all we get. Just one species of leopard and one species of lion. However, there are more species of leopard or subspecies of leopard all throughout the world. There's one that lives in Asia, then there are some other ones that, well, the ones in India are very well known. There are some that live in, I want to say, Southeast Asia as well. And then, of course, if we want to go bigger, then we can look at the snow leopards or all sorts of different species that look very similar to leopards in itself. But over here, we just get the normal plain Panthera pardus leopard, which is quite an interesting animal to view. Now, what is happening? I'm a bit puzzled as to why a lot of these guys are moving around, so I just want to chat to some of them and find out what is going on. Just maybe it's worth for us hanging around this area. Hello! How's it, Miriam? How are you doing? Good, thanks.
Looks like it's well done here.
Yes, I like it. It's nice and cozy. Are the Ngalas that side? Yeah. Okay. Is it that where that vehicle is?
Yeah, there's one thing.
Okay, I'm gonna see if maybe I can see them from this side. Thanks. Cheers. Alright, always good to see old friends. Now, indeed, the male lions are somewhere around here, so seeing we've got time, because we haven't been called into the leopard sighting just yet. I knew there was something fishy going on here. Maybe we'll be able to see them. They say that one of them is in the bushes on the right, but Senza, if you spot a lion, let me know. So we're gonna go very slowly, and we're gonna check if we can see one of them here. And if not, then we're just gonna stand by on the road and wait for a lion to appear. No, can't really see anything. VM. I called him VM. Oh, I got the wrong name. Nope, I can't see any lions around here. No lions around here. I can't see it. I'm not too sure. Maybe it's just gone a little bit further away. Very hard to spot anything from here. Can't really see anything from here. I can see where everyone is, but I can't see the lion. It's quite frustrating because I can see the vehicles and they're not too far from the boundary. However, I cannot see the lion. Let's see if maybe we can zoom in here. Nope. A car is definitely there and everyone's gazing in this direction. So I want to maybe take out my binoculars and have a quick look. See if maybe I can distinguish anything. No. Even if he's got his head up, it's going to be impossible to try and see him. Oh well. I suppose because the weather is still nice, maybe we'll get a chance later today. I am hoping that'll be the case because apparently the one is pretty much to my right and then the other one is in that direction. So, oh well. Oh, I see it now. Alright. Senzo, do you think you can work this? Because he's moving, so he's just hitting. I can remember. The guys are just passing us around and laughing at me going back and forth. Yeah, oh, he's just walked in front of the car. No! Okay, let me just try to get us another glimpse of the lion. Like I said, there are areas that unfortunately I cannot drive into. So I think this is as far as I can go. Now I can't see it walking anymore, and I think these are the two. Well, they must be the two that Rex had tracks for. But almost impossible now to try and see it. Likely it's going closer to its brother now. Although, pretty lion, you can always come to say hello to us. Bit of a no. Sorry guys, it seems like it's turning out to be pretty impossible to have a look at these lions. They are pretty much hiding out. I can't.
Brundies are down there, Ellie.
Hey? Yes, but I can't go that way. I'm not too sure. It's true. Thanks. I will. Cool, have a good one, guys. Now, it's a bit of a tricky one over here because we're in a bit of a boundary road. I'm not too sure what the story is. So I think maybe we'll just have to leave and carry on with our plan. But at least we had a bit of a glimpse of one of the Birmingham boys. I think just two of them. So we'll see. Alright, well that was an unexpected surprise. Let's go back over to Stef and see what other little surprises he might have for us.
Shame, I hear that it's going crazy there with those sightings. I mean, it's actually amazing how busy these sightings can get, and for the most part when you're walking or driving around over here you don't see anybody. That's just one of the beauties of this place, is that, you know, everybody helps each other find things, and when we do, or when we found something, everyone shares in it and creates those magical moments that we can see and share with everyone. Now, it doesn't look like the lionesses are with those male lions, or with that male lion. I wonder if they're not somewhere around here. There's a good chance that they're lying up somewhere here. The only permanent surface water that's around here is at the Gowrie Pan, which lies on the other side of that tree that you see down over there, probably about 1 kilometer or so from here. And that's the only, it's pumped water, and it's the only surface water that we have in this area, and it is going to be a draw card, a massive draw card for lions. Lions pretty much camp out around